All right. Let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, just testing to see if everything's good. Just gonna give it another like 30 seconds, guys. Just gonna give it another 30 seconds. All right. Let's start. Let us start today's session, right? Let us start today's session. Okay, so thank you very much for joining in, guys. I actually changed my microphone to back what it was, I think a few months ago. I don't know if you guys remember. So I first started this channel using like a conference speaker. It's actually a really nice conference speaker, but for videos, it may not be the best quality, right? And then I sort of moved to this microphone. This is a rodeo microphone. Shout out to my father there for giving me this microphone. I had to purchase something from Amazon just to connect like from its aux and all the way to the laptop. That's another topic for another day. But the point is that I started using this microphone here. But then recently, I think it was like in September or maybe October, I started using my headset, which is from Jabra. Again, the headset is amazing. I love it for work. I can, the quality of it is good in my opinion. But again, for videos, it might not be the best quality, and the sound of it is not that loud. And also, when you talk, like if I don't put the mic to like a direction underneath my chin, like you'll hear me breathing, and it's just weird. And I'm sure you can just put that whatever I have on this mic right now, like a little cushion, whatever, on the mic, and it'll stop hearing me breathe. But I don't know. I just never did it, and I've gotten some comments from some of our viewers saying, "Hey, the volume is not that high. Hey, can you improve your microphone?" So I'm going back with this microphone. I'm gonna test it out. Plus, it feels good not to have a headset on, but I don't know. We'll see how it is. And if I see that it's not that better, or if I see that we should be improving that, I will definitely go and invest in something a little bit more suitable for YouTube videos, especially as we're growing this channel. I think you guys deserve the best quality. I was looking to like better webcams, or better yet, a better camera for YouTube. I know like a bunch of YouTubers, they use like great cameras. But actually, to be honest with you, and just, and I won't go on rant on this, but like the whole purpose of this channel since day one has always been about content, right? Free content, that's all. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because, I don't want to put in efforts to edit out videos or get better quality. It's not that. It's just that I'm so focused with content and with other things going on in my life that I find it very hard to be focusing on hardware and so on. But eventually I'll have to invest in better hardware, and that includes microphone, better webcam. In my opinion, I think it's okay for now, the quality and so on. And I've gotten okay feedback from people. And as long as it's okay, I mean, as long as the content is there, I don't really, mind right now. But again, I want to deliver the best content for you guys, and especially if you're going to be watching our videos here for 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, or even hours long for some of you. I think you guys deserve the best quality, so I'll definitely be looking into it. So look out for that. So there's a couple of updates here. So again, this is just a live stream where we started this last weekend. It started really, really well. I mean, I had a bunch of questions, bunch of live questions, and I love talking to you guys on the live format. I mean, I love these types of videos because, whenever I'm doing these videos during the week, those videos that I upload, the feedback and the interaction always comes, hours later, if not days later, through the comment section. But in a live stream, I basically get to interact with you guys live. Like right now, I'm talking on the camera, I have my microphone there, but I also have a chat box on the other screen that obviously you cannot see. And in this chat box, I can see basically everything that's coming in right now. So I even see Glenn here. Thank you so much, Glenn, for joining in. I love your comments there. I know you're a big bull on CRISPR and on these companies, and I love having your comments, Glenn. Thank you so much for the comments, and shout out to everybody that publishes comments here and there in our channel. I think it's it doesn't seem big, maybe for you, maybe like for anybody that's commenting in our channel, maybe it's not a big deal just to go on underneath a video and just say nice video, thank you for the video, or just like a quick comment. Maybe it may not seem a big deal, but it's actually a really, really big deal for me because one, I see your name. Two, I see that you're doing the effort to comment it. And three, and most importantly, you're sort of interacting with people, right? And even if it's just a nice video, or how are you, or just like a comment on the video itself, I think a lot of people find value from that because it's not just about positivity. It's like building a community, right? And I've always said that in this channel. If you guys remember my early videos, it's always been about community, content. I'm never gonna put like courses for you guys to pay. I'm never gonna be publishing stuff without doing it on YouTube first. I'll never have any paywalls. I really will not have that, and it's not because I'm saying that just to look good or look cool, but I genuinely mean it. I genuinely mean it because I feel like everybody here deserves a chance to study these companies. And the purpose of this channel, like I mentioned in last week's live stream, was always that I started this channel because in genomics and CRISPR companies specifically, I didn't really see that much on YouTube. And when I did see some couple of individuals covering it, I felt like, we needed a little bit more personality and a little bit more life, a little bit more action, a little bit more diversity. And I know a lot of you guys felt the same way because you started following this channel and we sort of been building this community. And again, I'm expecting other YouTubers to jump in. I'm expecting other people to jump in. So this community will grow over time. But obviously with the markets the way they are right now and things are a little bit hefty, I've seen that with the metrics on YouTube. You obviously can see the number of viewers, the number of views, the number of clicks, subscribers, and so on. Things have been a little bit stale, been sideways there. But ultimately, we believe the future of CRISPR, we believe the future of genomics, and I strongly believe that. So, and I hope you guys also believe that because we are one of the early pioneers. If you guys think 2012, 2016, 17, 18 was early, we are still very early in CRISPR, very, very early. And I can tell that just by the reaction I got from ARK Invest, some of the people I spoke to, investors from ARK Invest. I mean, a lot of people are just very, very disconnected with what's going on with genomics, CRISPR companies, and this is the point of this channel, right? Is to allow you guys that opportunity for you to study it and to share it with your friends and families. And again, one day we'll invest in better content. Content being the video quality and the microphone quality. I promise you guys we'll have a better webcam there, better camera crowd quality. The same thing you guys see on Dave Lee on YouTube. Or on other people on YouTube will have that level of quality. But for now, all I ask you guys is just to hang on that because these things take time and you don't want to budget. And I don't want to be spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on stuff and just to not really have the output that I truly want. I want to do things the right way. And right now, the right thing to do, in my opinion, is to focusing on the content, on building our video catalog. We have over 250 videos at this point. Obviously, the quality can always be better. We can always deliver the content a little bit more better. We can be more, we can always study more, look at more research papers, and that's what I'm focusing on right now. But I promise you, ultimately, we'll have great quality with video, with microphone, and being part of the YouTube ads, AdSense program. Obviously, we're generating revenue, so obviously this is all going to be reinvested in this channel, in CRISPR, in genomics, like I've mentioned in the past. So I'm not saying anything new right now. These are things that you know if you've been following this channel. So let me see the comments here in the chat. Content is great, brother. This community is growing because of you. Thank you so much, Glenn, for that comment. This community is definitely growing. It's not just because of me. It's because of you too, Glenn, and because of everybody that's in this channel, sharing these videos, liking these videos. I truly mean it. I truly mean it because, I've seen it all grow with Tesla, right? In the recent years, I was part of that community over the years when it was growing, right? So I know exactly what it is. It sounds weird, but it always starts with YouTube. It always starts with Reddit. It always starts with Twitter. It always starts with Facebook, Instagram. You like posts, you share them, you comment on them, you build this community, you build this sense of camaraderie where, when things are tough, you can always, know that there are many other people that are in the same basket where you are, basket of goods, in the same, boat as you. And I truly believe that. And I think this is what we're seeing with CRISPR Genomics. We're building this during these hard times, during these bear markets. We're building this community that, in my opinion, is here to stay. I truly believe that. But yeah. Ever in New York City, let me know. I have been pushing CRISPR hard in the finance industry here. We both know now that we have the ability to play God. Absolutely, yeah. If I actually was thinking about going to New York City, Glenn, because I have one of my uncles that live in Brooklyn, and I actually haven't visited him in Brooklyn / New York City since like 2013, I think it was, 14, 13 summer. And I live in Toronto, so that's like I actually took the flight recently when I was coming back from Pakistan. I took the flight from New York City to Toronto, and the flight was literally an hour. So I can basically just take a flight, just land to New York City and spend some time with my uncle there, have a little bit of good time. I love the city, man. I love the city, and maybe one day I'll move away from the city. But for now, where I am in my career, where I am with my age and what I'm doing in life, I think the city is for me, and that's exactly why I live in Toronto right now, in the city right now. So yeah, for sure, I'll give you a shout. And yeah, for sure, Glenn, that's a great efforts you're doing there in the finance industry. I think if there's one thing we can do is always spread awareness, but it always comes with an approach where we have to be in a position to understand, that we have to put ourselves in the shoes of others, right? There is no CRISPR available drug right now when it comes to FDA approved. Yes, we have clinical data here, especially from CRISPR Therapeutics and from similar companies. We have preclinical data. We have a lot of things coming up in the pipeline in 2022. But ultimately, when we talk about revenues, when we talk about actual revenue and actual drugs on the market, it's hard for these Wall Street's analysts to make sense out of it. I mean, just when in vivo data came out in 2021, in June 2021, we all saw what happened. I saw on CNBC, they got the NTLA CEO there, and the question they asked him was so ridiculous, guys. I wish I could be I wish I could have this type of job where honestly all I talk about is stock price. I have zero knowledge about what's going on with the company, with the technology. All I do is just come like a pretty face on CNBC or on legacy media, and all I do is just talk about stock price. That's all I do. That's all I do. NTLA went over 50%. Let's grab the CEO of the NTLA, and then you're gonna get a couple thousand viewers there, and you just start asking questions about the stock price, what they do. And then, just listen to them, and then, you get your ads paid by, legacy companies like Ford and GM. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent there. But yeah, for sure, the finance industry definitely needs awareness. And I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there eventually. And I think you guys are doing all the efforts, including me, obviously, but other people's in this community as well. CRISPR Tommy, Shout out to CRISPR Tommy. I know he does a lot of work with his videos. I think a lot of people vibe with him. So shout out to him. I've learned a lot from him, and hopefully he's learned a lot from me. I don't know. I haven't seen him comment recently on my video channels. I don't know if he still watches our videos or something. I know he's busy, but I really do hope he does watch, because I'd love to get feedback from him, especially when I start talking about technical stuff with CRISPR. Okay. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining. Audio is pretty decent. Thank you, Michael. Like I said, I changed my microphone, so we'll see how it is. I changed back to the microphone I had previously, right? So it's not a new microphone, so I think it should be better now, because the headset was a little bit weird, but we'll see how it is. Hey, Renan, thank you for joining the channel. Hey, Renan, I don't know if you saw that your icon changes every month, right? Now it's like in yellow because you joined the channel, right? You joined the membership of the channel. I think like you have to pay like $2.99 Canadian. I put something like so low for people to pay monthly to join like the membership of this channel, and then you get like this cute icon and cute stuff. Maybe I can put like other cute emojis you could use. You know what? I'll probably do that, Renan. After this live stream, I'll put like cute emojis for you to use, just so that you can put in chat. But thank you very much for joining the channel membership. Like I said, I don't have any paywalls. I don't have any paid courses, and I'll definitely not have any paid courses or any paywall. Everything is for free on YouTube. For me, it's to democratize information for free, so we can all be on the same level when it comes to investing, especially in genomics. So this will never change. But the best thing you guys can do is definitely join this channel if you want to go a step further. That would be really, really good. Like I said, this revenue that's generated will just be invested with better quality. Like I said, I am planning to buy a better camera to get you guys the best quality and the best microphone out there. But this is going to take some time. Like I said, it is expensive, so I want to keep things in the budget. And like I said, I do want to focus on content. And what we're doing here is amazing. Just having a conversation live with you guys, to me, this means a lot more than just having a few nice pixels or a better microphone quality, in my opinion. But I know some individuals that don't really follow this channel would say otherwise, right? So it is what it is. But anyways, you did ask me a question. So did you try to contact or interview somebody who works for one of those genomics management, or even a scientist who work for them? Actually, I did, Renan. I actually did try to reach out to a couple of individuals. I'm not going to state specific names or specific companies, but I did try to reach out to a couple of people. Unfortunately, this was actually a while ago. I haven't really tried recently, like in the last 2-3 months. I probably should, because this channel has grown, and I know I actually know for firsthand that ARK Invest do watch this channel. So a couple of analysts from ARK Invest do watch our channel. Just by the nature of their work, they're not allowed to comment on our videos. They're not allowed to interact with me directly, because this has to go through HR, through their HR marketing teams. And that makes sense, right? You're a company that's a public company. You have duty to your stakeholders, and you can't just be interacting with random YouTubers talking about companies that your firm invests in. It just doesn't make sense. But I do know people from ARK Invest watch this channel. Shout out to ARK Invest. I was in one of their spaces, and they allowed me to ask a question from Tesla AI and genomics. That was a great conversation we had. But yeah, I know they watch our channel, but unfortunately I haven't really, gotten any response right now. If you know someone, let me know, let me connect with them. I would love to, I think in 2022, actually, one of my goals for this year for this channel was, we had a bunch of goals, but one of my goals was to actually, get in conversation with a couple of individuals from different companies, to actual live conversation, something like what I'm doing right now, but obviously a live interview on Zoom or whatever. So that I could, ask him some questions and have conversation. Plus, it'll help me to understand a little bit what they're doing. But ultimately, it'll be good for everybody in the space to learn a lot more. So it's definitely one of my goals, Renan. Stay tuned. But again, if you guys know people, just connect to me. Hey, Lawrence, thank you for joining the channel. And thank you for joining this live stream, for sure. Are you a member of CRISPR DAO? That sounds exciting, to influence the research. Yeah, I'm not a member of CRISPR DAO. I know exactly what you're referencing to. I know our fellow Nat Haruni is involved in this space. He's been posting a lot about it. I haven't really had a long format conversation with Haruni on it. I would love to talk to him at some point on it. I would actually want Nataruni to be on this channel and actually have this conversation and talk to us about CRISPR and CRISPR DAO and everything. I think this would be a great medium for him to just verbally express himself. But I know he's been busy, not just with what he's doing digitally, but also his day job. He's actually a doctor, so he's really busy these days. But I would love to get more information on CRISPR DAO. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for that question. Absolutely agree with financials. However, I do see a push within a network of people understanding these values. These values. Sorry, I was just saying something. With low revenue, thank you, Amazon, for that. I do see a push through my network. Yeah, absolutely. Amazon changed the game. I think Amazon changed the whole aspect of Wall Street, right? And people think Tesla did that. Was not the first company to do that. Amazon was definitely the first company to give this perspective where, you think about long-term growth and you think about, reinvesting in business as soon as possible. And you continuously invest in your business and, you incur a lot of losses over time. But long term, over time, when we talk about over time, I'm not talking about quarter to quarter, I'm talking about years over years. After 6, 7, 10 years, you're in a position to generate all that revenues and then eventually become profitable the exact way what Amazon did, exactly what Tesla is doing right now the last 2 years. It's exactly what they've done. So I think that is definitely a great comment there, Glenn. Thank you so much for that analogy. I think Amazon, if you guys follow this channel, I don't know if you guys remember this, but last year, back I think in April or something, I made this type of vlog type of video on Amazon, and I haven't really talked about Amazon since then, but Amazon doesn't get enough love. I think people I don't know why, it's really crazy how recency bias can affect us, right? I think it's we always think about what happened to the markets and these companies in the last 6 months, right? I think our understanding of these companies cap off for the average citizen, cap off after 6 months. Before 6 months, after 6 months, we sort of forget about what they've done in the past, right? Which is crazy, right? Because Amazon was I remember in 2013, was it 12 or 13? I was at my brother's house, and there was this guy that came in, and he was selling e-commerce stuff, and he was telling me how Jeff Bezos and Amazon were literally changing the game, right? And honestly, that wasn't that long ago, right? At that point, they already had AWS running at full speed at that point. But it wasn't clear from public markets, right? Amazon was not even a top 3 company market cap. They were a small company, right? I don't know if I can just generate on top here. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I can just generate here their stock price, but this is because it's the best representation here visually. Look at this, this is 13. This company was worth not even $300 a share at that time, so that's basically almost 10 times less than what they were. So they weren't even $450 billion market cap. And if you had invested in that was less than 10 years ago. That was 8 or 9 years ago. I remember I had this conversation with that guy at my brother's house, and if I had invested significant money, then you would have 10x from that time, right? Even more, right? If you gotten lucky and a few dollar cost at some point, right? Because the stock fluctuated over here. So that means, I'm just giving an example. If you had invested $10K, at that point you would have over 100,000. And that's assuming, you only invest in this company and not the other opportunities like Tesla, Netflix, and so on. So I think, there are a lot of opportunities in this market. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent here. I don't know if there's another chat here or can I get in today's content. I had a couple of things to talk about as we wait other people to join in. And I know there's the community. There's lots of people that last week that joined in, and today too. There's a couple of you joining in. So thank you again. Thank you so much for joining, guys. If you can hit that like button and share it to your friends and family, that would be amazing. Right. So, okay. So I'm just gonna. I guess what I'll do here is I am going to. I'm getting some comments here on other platform. Let me just comment on that. Okay, maybe you know what I'll do? Just give me a second, guys. I'm just gonna do something really, really quick before getting into today's content and what I wanted to cover. I had a couple slides / websites. Wanted to go over a couple of things, but I just wanted to do something really, really quick. It'll just take me a second. Okay. All right, so a couple of news this week, big news, really, really good news. First of all, HIV trial started, phase 1, phase 2 trial. Obviously, this was the video we covered this week that just went through just a few days ago. Actually, it was like 2 days ago, literally. I made a video on it. Excision Biotherapeutics initiates phase 1, phase 2 trial evaluating EBT 101 has a potential cure for HIV. And actually, one of the most popular video in CRISPR in this channel, in all of our 250 plus videos, is the video about HIV I made. That was a funny video because I was in one of the Airbnbs as I was traveling for vacation in Toronto at the time. And I was based in Montreal, and I made that video like literally saw the news. I just like spinned off my webcam and had this microphone and just started talking. And it's amazing how technology allows you to communicate this information, and it becomes the most popular video in your channel, right? Who would know, right? So it was definitely the video about HIV, and that at the time of that video, that was just a video where the FDA approved the IND filing from Excision Biotherapeutics. And at this point now, they've actually started the phase 1, phase 2 trial. That means they are currently recruiting patients to basically dose. This is CRISPR-Cas9, right? This is CRISPR-Cas9, and this is done through the gene CCR5. You knock out that gene, and then you basically can be looking at a potential cure for HIV, which is a serious issue with a serious disease, this is no joke. I think everybody that watches this channel knows exactly what HIV is, especially people that were sort of raised in the 80s and 90s know exactly what it is. You know, we've seen many celebrities with HIV, including Magic Johnson, and so on. So, serious issue, and obviously EBT 101, the program that this company is leading it by, is going to start their first human trial, is now in enrollment. That means they're recruiting people to dose, and this is going to go through in vivo. So a couple of important points. This is still CRISPR-Cas9. It's not base editing. It's not prime editing. It is CRISPR-Cas9, and there's a reason why it's doing it through CRISPR-Cas9, because CRISPR-Cas9 has the most safe data so far, with the most academic papers published and the furthest in clinical data, clinical trials. Just makes sense for them to double down on this technology. If you have a technology that is proven, if you have a technology that you know the FDA is going to be a little bit more open arms with, you want to go with that technology, because it just doesn't make sense for them to go through prime editors when, you know, these things can get a lot of delays, and you have a technology that you know it's going to work really well, prime editing, but ultimately you don't have the data to back it up to justify having a clinical trial like we're doing here on EBT 101. So in vivo, in my opinion, again, they haven't really put all the details in because they are a private company. They just recently raised funds here, if I recall, for their private funds. But this is a private company. They're not obliged to disclose you all the information because it is a private company. But we do have information as to how they're planning to tackle it, especially from their press releases. It will be through the CCR5 gene. And I've gotten comments in my last video stating that this will be the case. So we'll see what happens. And then the CEO here mentioned Lisa Danzig. She mentioned, while there are treatments to control HIV, they must be taken for life. 40 years into this pandemic, and there is still no curative regimen. With the initiation of EBT 101 phase 1-2 trial, we are now working to validate our preclinical findings in the clinic by generating safety, pharmacodynamic, and preliminary efficiency data. We believe data will be used to inform the design of the future studies and demonstrate EBD 101 potential to address the unmet needs of patients with HIV. So this is going to start this year. It is starting. It has started 2 days ago. Curious to see what this program will give us. Again, way too early for us to be commenting on it, but preclinical data has shown safe and efficient data on obviously not humans, on monkeys and rats. But the point here is that the data has been shown good. And if we use historic data on other clinical trials, not specifically CRISPR, just in general, when you have good data on mice and when you have good data on monkeys, for example, then the likelihood for you to get great data on humans is also very, very high. We'll stay optimistic because ultimately this is a win for society. It's a win for governments. It's a win for humanity. HIV is just crazy how we're 40 years into the whole outbreak of HIV that we've had in the 80s and 90s. And yet we actually don't even have a cure for it, which is quite crazy. Another video here, this is something that I haven't covered in a video format, but this was actually a video interview between a couple of individuals that we're aware of, notably David R. Liu, obviously Dr. Liu here. I don't have to introduce him. You guys know exactly who it is. There was also Sekar here. Sekar is obviously the CEO of Verve Therapeutics. Patrick, there was Nicole as well. Nicole, the leadership in Beam Therapeutics. I forgot the exact title, but she's really high up. And actually, she made a comment in this video about how a lot of her information she gets is from Twitter. So shout out to everybody in this community, not just on Twitter, but on YouTube. Everybody here, you guys, I'm telling you, there are many, many people watching our channel, reading comments, reviewing videos. Even if you think that it's not as professional as some other mediums are, trust me, they're watching it. Trust me I know this for a fact because I've gotten DMs, I've gotten messages from people, and I know they're watching our channel. But again, it's great that they're watching our channel, and I would love to have them in our channels as an interview format. But I understand the legal side of things, and the everything to do with risk, right? Because you have to evaluate what is it for you to gain to come on this channel. In my opinion, I think I could initiate great conversations with individuals like these. I'm not saying that interviews like what we're seeing here from John Carroll and the team here, they're not, and JP Morgan, they're not doing a great job. I think they're doing an amazing job. But ultimately, I think if you want to get to the people, to the retail investors, to the average citizen, I think you have to get in conversation with them directly. And that is getting on channels like myself or other people, right? It doesn't have to be me. I know CRISPR Tommy doesn't do interviews, but it could be on with him, talking about science, talking about technology. It could be with Dr. Dean. It could be with different genomics YouTubers, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But this is a great interview. I highly advise you guys to watch it. Some couple of good points. Just wanted to go over it really, really quickly. Another great point here is Mammal Biosciences. So bunch of news with Mammal Biosciences in the last 2 weeks. Again, I've covered each of these news individually through videos, but again, it's always nice to talk about it. Most notably, recently, Mammal actually received FDA emergency use for authorization for the first CRISPR-based high throughput COVID-19 test, right? So again, this is not FDA approved. This is just basically FDA coming to Mammal Biosciences or vice versa and getting this emergency use FDA authorization. Basically, they can use that under certain circumstances, obviously regulated by the FDA. But this is a great thing. This is great news because Mammal Biosciences is one of those companies we covered. And I just love how they're doing a lot more than just genome editing. They're all about diagnostics. They're all about data. They're all about understanding what is going on with the pandemic currently. I've mentioned it in the past. I find it very disappointing that many CRISPR companies, currently public companies, haven't really doubled down on the pandemic, right? What's going on? I mean, this is perhaps the most easiest way to get funding from governments, right? Literally what Moderna and Pfizer did, right? I mean, these are big pharma companies. I understand their talent. They have the talent pool for it. They have the headcount for it. They have many employees to sustain these types of development. But look at Mammal Biosciences, right? This is a private company. It's a very small company relative to other companies, public, and they're able to dedicate 50% of their workforce to like tools and hardware, such as what's going on with the pandemic. And then they get these types of relationships with the FDA. They get funding from governments. big funding from governments at that point. And I think CRISPR companies should definitely venture into that. But, who am I to tell them how to operate their business, right? I'm sure there's a reason why they haven't doubled down on CRISPR when it comes to the pandemic, but I don't know. Can't really explain that. But yeah, that was one of the news. A couple of other news, obviously, Bayer and Mammal Biosciences, they sort of developed a collaboration program where we've, again, covered this news in a previous video. So definitely advise you guys to watch that video if you guys want a lot more information on that. But basically, it's Mammal getting upfront $40 million and potential future milestone payments for more than $1 billion upon successful achievement. So there are a couple of variables there that have to be achieved for Bayer to be in a position to pay that $1+ billion to Mammal Biosciences. But again, this is amazing because it puts validity to Mammal Biosciences, a private company, but also as CRISPR as a whole, right? Bayer is a huge pharma company. It is no joke. Bayer is definitely known in the industry. And for them to venture into this, we just get one big player into this, and they're basically potentially paying over $1 billion for this novel genome editing technology, right? And you got to think of yourself, if CRISPR was not here to stay, if CRISPR was going to be replaced by another technology, then why are these big pharma companies like Pfizer, Bayer, Vertex, Regeneron paying billions of dollars for this technology, right? Food for thought. By the way, shout out to everybody who's having their coffee. This is amazing. CRISPR coffee, right? Maybe I should just rename this title video, this Livestream, CRISPR coffee. I don't know. CRISPR and coffee. Or genomics and coffee, right? That would be amazing. I'm just going to check no questions yet. Guys, again, you can interact with me live on the chat if you have any questions, feedback, input. Just let me know, if there's something you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be CRISPR, genomics, or the markets, or what happened this week. It could be anything, literally, and I'll try to answer it. Ask me anything and see if I answer, right? So, another article here. This is actually, I haven't covered this in the video format yet. This is actually from the Nature article. And this is a big article because, first of all, Nature is a very, very known publisher in the industry. In fact, it is the most prestigious for some people, if not the most prestigious industry for most people. And Michael Einstein here, they wrote an article here on basically the 7 technologies to watch for 2022, and this was again published just a couple of days ago. And more specifically, they're talking about a bunch of technology, right? Sequencing, solutions with proteins, AlphaFold, obviously referencing to Google DeepMind, and we saw some research, some information from DeepMind late summer last year. But most importantly here, right? I don't know if I can find this here. They talk a lot about base editing, right? Let's take a look here. So precise genome manipulation for all the genome prowess. CRISPR-Cas9 is better suited for gene inactivation than repair, right? And then they go over, Dr. Liu's lab, and they're talking about base editors, and they're talking about how, it's a next generation of CRISPR than what CRISPR-Cas9 is currently. They're talking referencing to the 2016 when base editing was in the papers at that point. It was sort of being developed in the academic world. And then they're also introducing prime editing, but obviously prime editing is still early, not as many academic papers. But hopefully they're basically, doubling down on base editing at that point, talking about targeted genetic therapies, which is what base editors allow you to do. And obviously, as opposed to ex vivo, you can basically go through in vivo and just inject directly the CRISPR drug inside the liver, for example, the muscle tissue, so on, and basically, address that particular gene in that human body. But obviously, they supplement that saying that, ex vivo was, it's still going to be applied in the past, but now you have something with in vivo. We saw with 2021 data from phase 1 from NTLA. So we do have data from that company. We do have data from human data. We're going to have a lot more data to come for NTLA 2001. I'm very excited for it. I know some of you are excited as well. They also talk about, the delivery methods being improved over time. But we'll see at that point what happens with delivery method. I don't think they're gonna see much of it this year. I really don't think. I think this year is a lot. In my opinion, I think this year is gonna be a lot. If you just remove the stock price and everything with what's going on in the market, if you just focus on technology and where these companies are, I actually, in my opinion, I don't think we'll be seeing an IPO from Mammoth. I don't think we'll see an IPO from Prime. A couple of reasons for that. I think it's more because the markets are so down. There's a lot of uncertainty, and they're doing really, really well in the private markets, especially Mammoth, obviously from what we've seen. But I wouldn't be surprised towards the end of the year, Mammoth, they file for a DRS1. They want to go public, right? I think they want to reward their existing shareholders, their existing employees. Actually, a great point in that. I don't know if we want to go that rabbit hole here, but I'll make it quick, right? Verve Therapeutics, right? A lot of people have been tweeting that Verve Therapeutics CEO has been selling his stock, and obviously we just mentioned his name, Sek. He's been selling his stock, Sekar, and Dr. Sekar there has been selling, the company's stock every day since like December or something crazy like that. But what people forget, and I'd like to make that point, is that a lot of these employees, a CEO is an employee, right? Don't forget this. A CEO is an employee. And what that means is the company is paying you good money. Obviously, these companies are getting great money, salary per year. But ultimately, the great money comes from stock compensation, right? And what that means is basically companies say, look, we're going to give you like $200,000 a year to do all this great work, but they also take in all this stress. They work really, really long hours for the company. But then they basically tell them, look, after 2-3 years, you can basically be vesting into your shares. You can exercise your shares options or something along those lines, right? It could be a lot more complex than that. It could be a lot more simple than that. And they're humans ultimately, right? People, they have, things, they have goals, they have personal goals, whether that's the CEO of Verve Therapeutics, whether that is your average employee in a company. They want to buy their house, their summer vacation house. They want to invest in other companies maybe. They want to diversify. Maybe they have lawyers and tax accountants telling them other things that they want to sort of follow because those are professionals. And ultimately, some of them are not financial gurus. They're just focusing on their job. They're just focusing on the technology. So to me, I find it no problem for them to sell their stock. I know it feels really bad because you're like in a bear market and you're like, damn, couldn't you just hold it out? I know that. I know how you guys feel. But ultimately, if you were in their shoes, trust me, you would have done exactly the same thing because ultimately you have your friends and family around you. You all have personal lives. And I think it's just selfish to think that other people should be doing something just for you and that you should be telling them what to do with their financial side of things. This is a risk you took before investing in these public companies. You have to understand that, and that's why you want to do your due diligence to see how many of the insiders hold their shares of these companies. Netflix is a perfect example where just before not really just before, let's say late November, early December, when the stock price was like at its peak almost, the company, the director and the VP there, Gregory and Ray, I think that's his name. They sold their shares in Netflix. They sold a couple of millions of shares. And again, they're paid a year's salary, but the the icing on the cake itself, it's not just icing on the cake. The cake itself actually is their stock compensation. So they want to sell their shares and make the money and diversify and do what they want to do, travel, buy the goods, the car they want, the house they want, the clothes they want. Buy good food, good shoes, good clothes. And obviously, when we talk about millions, at what point will we be spending it all? But it's not up to us to judge them what they want to do with their money. And I think this applies to Verve Therapeutics. This applies to any of these companies. And that's a great segue into explaining why I think Mammal Biosciences will eventually go public, right? Because they want to allow their current employees, future employees, right? They want to get the best employees. And for them to get the best employees, they have to offer stock compensation. And the way you offer them is the best efficient way of doing that is to be a public company, and you basically give them stock compensation based plan where you say, look, if you work for us, we're going to give you this much yearly salary. But if you hit your bonuses, if you hit your goals, we do this much, you can also earn this much. So this much stock, this much shares, and obviously they're gonna sell it or not. It depends their personal priorities. That depends their conviction. It depends what they do in life. So I don't think we are to judge them. So, anyways, I went on a tangent there. But I do believe Mammoth and Prime Medicine, all these CRISPR private companies will go public at some point. Will it be anytime soon? I really don't think so. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. I don't think it definitely will not be in the first half of 2022, in my opinion. If you may see this coming, it may be in the second half of 2022. It may be when the FDA starts reviewing CTA-001 for CRISPR Therapeutics for potential approval. But that's, these are just speculation. I am not going to bet on any date there, but I would love to invest in Mammal. This is definitely a company I would love to invest. I would be willing to even pay a premium because I think it's one of those companies that I want to invest in because they're not just doing genome editing. They're tackling diagnostic side of things. They're tackling the sequencing side of things. And ultimately, they want to handle data and they want to be, a platform rather than just a particular company that's just editing genes in clinical trial, which is still amazing, right? You can generate billions of dollars doing that. You can be a serious company. You can literally 10x in the public markets just by genome editing, by the virtue of getting those deals from Bayer, from Pfizer, from Vertex, from all these companies. But being an all-around company, I think it's amazing. Coffee's getting cold here. Maybe I need a refill soon. Glenn mentioned they will not go public until strongly steady revenue. I want them to go public ASAP, but private market is so powerful over the past 20 years. I'm hoping the next 3 and 5 years. Yeah, I honestly, I'm making these assumptions because I know a lot of our viewers, they almost, it's not just a lot of viewers, just in general, we always want things to come fast and quick. Because for us, it's obvious, right? We know this company is going to be successful. We know this company is here to stay, and we want to have a piece of it. Unfortunately, a lot of us are not accredited investors. And even if you were an accredited investors, you would need to pay like 5% to like 12% fees to invest in these private companies. And plus, all the infrastructure, all the stress you have to go through. It's just not worth it. And plus, it's only available for U.S. Accredited investors. If you're Canadian like me, I cannot invest in these companies, right? And these beautiful companies that I would love to invest in. I bet you that I put more time into these type of private companies than these current investors that I have spent, because these investors, accredited investors, are spending time in researching a bunch of companies. They don't have time to research a particular company, especially not a biotech company, in my opinion. To this extent. But yeah, I don't think there'll be anytime soon. Private markets are really, really powerful. I've heard the All In podcast from Chamath, Jason Calanis, David Sachs, and Friedberg. They talk a lot about private markets, and they were like at the golden age of private markets the last 3-5 years. We've seen the emergence of Uber, Airbnb, Robinhood. All these companies were like private for like 5 to 8 years. Some of them even 10 plus years, like Airbnb. There's a reason why, right? Because there was no need for them to go public, right? Because they were getting all these funds from private companies, being a private company themselves. And the reason why this is powerful is because, one, you can, being a public company is no joke, right? Because you're basically giving up ownership to the public. That means you have quarterly earnings to report, you have quarterly expectation, your stock price fluctuates, the stress level goes high. And then you sort of have different stakeholders to answer to. You can't necessarily do things you could have done in a private company. You couldn't have thrown those random parties because everything is monitored in your expenses. You could not throw these random expenses because ultimately everything has to be answered through the public shareholders. Plus, you can have these public companies, institutions like ARV Invest that just sweeps in, owns like 10% of your company, like we see with Teladoc and with other CRISPR companies. We could truly see that. So I think that's why a lot of these companies stay private, and that is perfectly fine. I think you as an investor, you have to deal with the cards you're given, and it is what it is, right? So, but thanks for the question, Glenn. Thanks for the statement, rather. It wasn't a question. Hey, Larry, thank you so much for joining. Larry, like I mentioned, there's a lot of you guys that joined our channel early on in our days when we started our channel, when my name was really known in the community, and it's still not known relatively with some of the other YouTubers. But we are growing, but it's thanks to you guys, commenting on our videos, joining our live stream recently, liking our videos. It doesn't seem like a big deal to you guys, but like I mentioned earlier, it is a big deal. Liking our videos get the YouTube algorithms working. So thank you so much, Hilary. But thanks for another great live stream. Audio is good. Any idea why Arik and CRISPR Tommy are so down on Caribou Bio? That's a great question. So first of all, couple facts. ARK Invest actually bought secondary shares before they IPO'd, Caribou, when they IPO'd. So they actually held, if I recall, 15 million shares or 50 million dollars worth of share. I forgot what it is between the two. But they did held a significant amount, maybe not that but much of an amount compared to other stocks they hold, but they did hold a couple of millions here and there for Mammal Biosciences. But it unfortunately sold the company when the company IPO'd, like after like 3 or 4 weeks, the company's stock price went up. They could have made a lot more if they held it because the stock went even higher than when they sold it. But now it's been even down than when they IPO'd. So maybe in hindsight, it's a great decision when it comes to trading and selling. And this is why I don't do ETFs. I love ARK Invest. I love what they're doing in this field. These interviews they're doing. They literally, their last 2 podcast episodes are all about CRISPR and CRISPR-Cas9, right? It's not just about base editing and prime editors. They're talking about CRISPR-Cas9. So I love what they're doing. They're buying NTLA literally every single day throughout their funds. Just go and track their trades every business day. They post their trades at the end of the day. And ARK Invest has always been buying NTLA, Beam Therapeutics. They even bought some Verve Therapeutics recently. They bought a lot of CRISPR in the recent weeks, CRISPR Therapeutics. So I love what they're doing in the space, but ultimately I can't be in a position to invest in a fund where they're trading and selling these stocks like that. I'm more of a long-term investor. I buy a stock, I hold it because I built conviction over the months, the years. And to me, I think they're down on Caribou for a couple of reasons. First of all, Caribou has a proprietary technology that's not really proven by other companies, obviously, because it's proprietary. And I think the data they've shown is preclinical. It is not on humans. And they're not so convinced that this technology will have an edge over CRISPR-Cas9 or base editors or even prime editors. And I don't really necessarily think that Caribou is really betting on the fact that they can be better in base editing when it comes to efficiency. I think they just want to prove that their technology just has 0 off target, 0% off target, 0% translocation, 0% editing issues. They just want to show that they can literally edit their CAR T cells, like they're working on CB-010 that they've already dosed for their first patient back in August 2021, which will get data this year. And I think CRISPR Tommy himself, I think he's just all in base editing at this point. He's not even bullish on CRISPR Therapeutics at this point, right? He's more of a I know he's big on CRISPR as a whole, but he's really invested in Beam Therapeutics, and that's fine. We all have our personal investment convictions, and I think he's really big on CRISPR from Beam Therapeutics because they hold these partnerships, and I actually agree with them. I actually bought some Beam Therapeutics recently, like literally 2 days ago. Actually, yesterday I bought some Beam Therapeutics, and literally when I bought the stock and everything went up, I truly hope we're getting out of this bear market because then I can say that I literally bought at the bottom because I did. But I'm a big fan of Beam Therapeutics. Last video yesterday was on Beam Therapeutics corporate presentation, but ultimately I think there'll be other winners as well, and Caribou, in my opinion, will be a winner because of their leadership. Founder-led leader Rachel Harwitz is no joke. She is extremely focused. If you read the Codebreaker book from Isaacson, you'll see that she was definitely involved with the Jennifer Doudna's lab. She's described to be one of the people that is so focused in the lab, but also is aware of the business landscape, and she wants to venture in that side of things. That's exactly why Caribou was and is the first CRISPR company in the history of humanity, especially in the US. So I think there's validity to there, and I think, but will it be the MySpace? I don't know. Will it be the MySpace of social media? I don't know. It's too early for us to say. I think those are bad comparisons. I think Caribou reinvented themselves with their Chardonnay's rDNA technology that they are promoting, and we'll see what phase 1 data comes in. I truly believe the narrative will change this year. I truly believe that. I think ARK Invest, I think Tommy, and I think all YouTubers will look at Caribou differently once phase 1 data comes in. I'm under impression with the data that I've seen, with the research paper that I've seen from Caribou. I think they're here to stay. I've covered that in previous videos. Literally, my first video on my homepage on YouTube is about the interview with Chardonnay's technology from Rachel, specifically talking about Caribou. So we'll see. Glenn says, I'm a big fan of Caribou. Rachel even highlighted in Forbes as one of the brightest. ARC isn't on Caribou yet, but because why would they take the risk yet? Sheldon is our DNA is unique and many competition focusing on CAR T. I agree with that. I agree with that statement 100%. You're 100% right, Glenn. But ultimately, I think that narrative will change when phase 1 data comes in for CBO 010. I love ARC, but I don't own ARCGs. Caribou just signed a new lease and is expanding with a market cap of 600 million. It's an amazing ad. Sheldon is our DNA tech is actually amazing. So that is actually great news. I actually didn't even know that. I think I've seen that somewhere. I don't know if is it on a press release? Do you know? Because I actually check these press releases quite often because I want to see if they're getting like FDA information or something. Yeah, I know about this. They appointed Syed Rizvi, CMDO here, Chief Medical Officer. That's actually quite interesting. They hired them. I actually don't even know the background of this person. Where does he come from? I don't know. It doesn't really matter for the purpose here, but in 2022, we plan to disclose information on CBO10, file an IND for their other CAR T program, and CBO11, which is their CAR C and K cell therapy, which a lot of people in this space are hopeful on. But I truly agree with you, Glenn. I don't also own RG. Again, nothing wrong with RG. I think I highly advise, especially people that don't have time to spend in this field, that they just want to, get exposure, and just because they want exposure in biotech and CRISPR and genomics, truly advise everybody to look into it. But yeah, Glenn, thank you. Yes, 1 second. Let me know where you got that information because I have not seen that, and I know I've seen it somewhere. I just haven't seen like a press release or something. Maybe I can just Google and find it, but I'll let you find for while I talk about other things here. But I truly believe Caribou is here to stay. I think their technology with the CAR T cell therapies is novel. I think it's amazing. I love their CEO. I love their leadership. I think Harriet is one of those people that I truly, truly admire. She's so well spoken. She understands technology. She is a doctor. She did work with CRISPR in the early days, especially was part of that famous paper from Dalna's team with Emmanuel Charpentier as well. There was other two guys that actually led the whole thing under Dalna. I forgot their names, but she was definitely not one of those two individuals. But she was definitely in that team, and she was doing great work. I truly believe that what CRISPR with Caribou is doing in this space is amazing. I truly believe that. And I think you said June 19. Let's Google this, right? Can we get? You know what? Yeah, I wish we could link stuff on YouTube. I don't know if you did, Glenn, but I'm not seeing the link, right? Probably because it blocked or something. Where did you see that though? Like, is there like? I don't know if I can find that. Please, I really am curious now. Maybe news. Yeah. This 3 months ago, Yahoo Finance. I can't find it. Whatever. I mean, maybe something like this. Oh, okay. Wait. I see something here. Oh, the Form 8K. 8K. This is perfect. I should have just started with this. Let's zoom in here. Let's see what's. The company is obliged to make a monthly rent payment of $6.50 square foot. There's 10,000 square foot here. There's an annual increase of 3.5. That's fine. The landlord will contribute $175 square foot towards the cost of tenant improvement for the building. So that's interesting. 5 years, additional 5 years. So there was a down payment of $395,000. And actually, I think this is going to be reflected in the earnings, right? They have to disclose this information. CEO signed off on this. Hey, this is amazing. On Berkeley, eh? This is amazing. It's in California. That is amazing. Office laboratory leaves. That is amazing, amazing, amazing news, Glenn. Thank you so much. I did not notice this news. You see, this is why I love chatting with you guys live, because I get to learn new stuff. And actually, what's important is that, I think this is a great segue into like the power of manufacturing, the power of technology. We've seen Dr. Sam mention in ARK Invest. Actually, I brought it up with ARK Invest Spaces, like I said, when I spoke to Brett and Tasha and Sam from ARK Invest, the analyst. Fortunately, Ali wasn't there, Ali Yearman, but I did tell them that, Dr. Sam has mentioned that robotics is so important with their latest factory. Manufacturing facility. In fact, they mentioned that Dr. Sam mentioned that a 60,000 square feet facility is equivalent to the standard in biotech of a 600,000 square feet because of their push to automation, robotics. So I foresee this happening with Yaidu as well. I truly believe manufacturing is something that is undervalued. Yesterday video, if you saw it, me talk about Beam Therapeutics, one of the pillars of sustainable genome editing future is becoming a platform, but also being a professional when it comes to manufacturing, right? Advancing manufacturing, right? This is so important. Manufacturing is so underrated. It's so underrated within like legacy autos and like Tesla. People don't even understand how important production factories are. So imagine biotech. I'm 100% sure that 99% of people that are invested in these spaces, in these verticals, in genomics, don't really truly appreciate the importance of production facilities, right? And I can't blame them, right? The focus is never on that by legacy media. No one even talks about it. So this is a great find. I'm definitely going to be looking further into this. This is quite interesting. You wouldn't get another lease if they didn't see something promising in the works. Absolutely. I mean, why would you even get a lease if your company's not doing well, if you're getting negative data, if things are going downwards? It just doesn't make sense, right? And plus, if you take a look at that, this rent is going to commence this summer, August 1st, and it's approximately 10 years and 6.5 months, right? So over 10 years and a half from commencement day. So that means the term will end at July 31st, 2032, right? This is huge. This is so big. Let me paste this here so people. I don't know if I can. I'll post it. I'm gonna reword this because of limits of words on YouTube chat, but what is it? Yeah. Look at this, man. This is crazy. Glenn said Rachel also exercised her option and acquired 10K shares. Yeah, 10K shares is not a big deal, like you said. Again, not much hope, but gives hope. Not much, but gives hope. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, anything will help at this point. But honestly, like I mentioned, honestly, I'm not even that worried about stock prices, like what's going on with shares. I honestly don't even like sometimes talking about individuals, what they do with their stocks, price, with stock compensation, because I know exactly what I would have done in those situations. I got a car to pay, I got a house to pay, maybe I got gas to pay, or whatever fees I have, insurance, I have mortgage, I have vacations to pay, I have significant other, we got to do activities, there's a bunch of stuff I need to pay, and then I have personal goals. And to me, to say that I'm not gonna sell my acquired shares over time for a company that I'm truly invested in. I'm working hours and hours a day, I'm working on weekends, and I'm so invested in it. It just doesn't make sense. I want to diversify. It's not even, it goes against my ethos, right? It goes against my ethos of how I want to live my life. I don't want to be bound into a particular sect of a company or a sect of an organization. I want to be, I am a free, we're all free men and women, just like me and you, Glenn, we're all free men and women. We want to invest in whatever we want. And I think it's ultimately what I truly believe in. This is my ethos. This is how I was born and raised. I was born and raised in Montreal at that point, and I believe in true freedom. And I don't see a point of us, start to, do a witchcraft on individuals, how they, behave with their stock price. But again, if they buy their own company shares, I love that because it shows, conviction. But ultimately, it plays both ways, right? If we're gonna be, witchcrafting them over selling their shares, then we shouldn't be that happy when they buy their own shares. This is just my opinion because I think it's the yin and yang combo, right? You can't be favoring one side of the argument and then ignoring the other side, right? You got to be fair, right? And that's how we stay away from biases. That's how we try to be solid with our thesis. And it may not really mean much to us in this channel, but when you have investors that are not looking the space and all they're seeing is people talking about stock prices, like everything that happened recently with Elon and Tesla, it's just a disgrace, right? I mean, why are we even talking about Elon selling his shares after I understand it was a topic like 3 days. I understand that because he sort of brought it up to himself with the Twitter poll. But after 2-3 days, let's get over that, right? Let's focus on the company. Let's focus on the mission. Let's focus on all this fake competition that the legacy autos are saying. And, going back to here on genomics and CRISPR, let's focus on patients being dosed. Let's focus on these types of news of companies expanding. There's so much we need to focus on. There's so much we can talk about. But I understand share price is always fun to talk about, especially when you have like a Verve Therapeutic CEO selling his share on a daily basis. It looks quite bad. And I understand that, but ultimately, who are we to judge them? It's their life. They can do whatever they want. And that's the risk I accepted when I invested in any of these public companies, right? Otherwise, you could just hoard your money and not invest in these public companies, right? So I'm just going to take a look here. Let's see if there's... This is amazing, right? These are great question comments, Glenn and Larry and Michael. Thanks so much, guys. I'm gonna keep the stream going a little bit more and see what else can we get from it. But there was a study here actually published just recently. This from on Twitter. It was actually mentioned. I haven't seen it before, but it looks like. This study, this clinical trial has started, and it's a study on metastatic gastrointestinal cancers treated with tumor in which the genome editing encoding the intracellular immune checkpoint CISH is inhibited using CRISPR genetic engineering. Right, so this was updated in 2021 in the summer. And basically, they're going through phase 1, phase 2 trial, and this is specifically doing it through CRISPR-Cas9. I believe I saw it somewhere, but it's doing CRISPR-Cas9, and it's basically, this institution here, they're trying to, tackle a specific genome encoding CISH was inactivated using CRISPR-Cas9 system, and they're explaining a little bit how they're doing here. It's actually quite detailed description here. Other clinical government sites don't actually have this much detail. It's quite interesting. This is the protein they're trying to tackle, right? Inhibition of SIH in mouse antitumor results in marked increase in the ability of these lymphocytes to mediate tumor regression following administration to tumor-bearing mice. So obviously, preclinical data is on mice, and it's shown to work, and that's exactly why they're going forward with this phase 1, phase 2 clinical trial. And actually, there was something I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I want to make a note on it in today's live stream, but there was someone on I'm not gonna say the platform because I don't want to point them out, and I don't want people to get upset with that person, whatever. It is what it is. But they actually posted that they actually found out they had cancer, and they're confused about it, and that's in the recent months, and they're thinking about approaching professionals. They're not sure what to do, and I actually approached them. I approached that person. I told them, hey, if you're interested, if you live in certain regions in US or Canada, you can actually sign up for these clinical trials specifically for CTX110 from CRISPR Therapeutics, or for any of these programs like we just talked about Caribou, for example, Beam Therapeutics. They have their own program coming up at some point, and you can look further into it. And if you're interested, you can sign up for these clinical trials the same way we're seeing here for this gastrointestinal cancers. Same way, if you're interested, if you're obviously eligible, but obviously it always starts with the interest, with the mission, with the vision, and then you can make action on it. And you can approach these companies and sort of look further. Like I told them, look into CRISPR. Again, this person had made no mention of CRISPR. This person had made no mention about anything other than they found out that they had cancer recently, and they want to find ways or venues to see if there's anything that they can do to potentially participate in a manner where they can treat that patient, their cancer at some point, right? And I actually suggest, like I said, CRISPR. I suggest these companies. Unfortunately, I sort of got like a negative feedback. I wouldn't say negative feedback. I just say like it just that person just like told me, okay, thanks, right? That was the response. Like I actually wrote like a significant like paragraph. Like I put some efforts there, and all I got was like, okay, thanks. And I don't know, I just find it weird. The person has cancer and they're posting on social media on whatever platform it was. And I'm actually doing the effort because I'm in this space and I know CRISPR, what it can do. And I've seen these clinical trials treat patients. We saw with CTX110. And it's just, a little bit, disappointing to see the feedback being negative. I don't know. To me, it was negative. If you just tell me, okay, thanks. I guess maybe you're not comfortable talking with strangers about your health, and but ultimately, I'm trying to cure their cancer. I don't know. Like, I'm not a doctor. I am not like telling them what to do. I'm just, suggesting a venue that they could explore. And I wish they would have told me, hey, do you have more information on that? What is CRISPR? What is the CRISPR Therapeutics? What is the CTX110? Do you have a video? Do you have something that I can follow? I wish the questions would have been something like that. Instead, it was just like, okay, thanks. And I just found that really, really weird. As an answer, in my opinion, was more like, okay, thanks, but stop talking to me. And it is what it is. I don't know. You have cancer, and I'm trying to help you out there. Again, if it was something private, you haven't mentioned it, then that would be on me, right? Who am I to approach someone about that, right? But you posted on social media, and I wanted to help you out. But I don't know. It's just weird. It is what it is. I'm gonna continue doing what I do, and I don't know if you guys ever got in that situation. Let me know if you did. Larry says, thanks Hassan and Glenn for the great info. I was so impressed after listening to a couple of interviews with Rachel. Absolutely, Rachel is well-spoken, and not just well-spoken, but everything she's doing for the company and the company itself, the leadership board there. Things are looking good from Caribou, but we'll see where they go, right? A few things to note outside day-to-day CRISPR investing. CRISPR will eliminate DNA as evidence in law. CRISPR will be used as a weapon. CRISPR may be help with racism or make it worse. Jeff Bezos will use CRISPR to live longer. Billionaires can no longer ignore tech. That's a great point. Yeah, there are a lot of ethics issues. I think I'm sure you've seen, Glenn, I'm sure you've seen the interviews and the documentary on CRISPR, specifically the one, I think it was on PBS, I think it was, or I know Netflix, they have their own series, but the one I'm referencing, I think it was like CRISPR Humanity or something like that on PBS. Or one of those channels, but even the one on Netflix, they actually dedicated a lot of time to talk about the ethics issue. So there are many ethics issues. Actually, Jennifer Doudna is actually really focused on that at this point in her career. She's really focused on how to use CRISPR in a way where it is done to, in a controlled manner where it can cure cancer. But I've always said this in the past, every powerful technology tool can be used for the greater good, but can also be used for the worst, right? It can bring the worst of humanity, right? Just think about all these technology tools like social media. people can say whatever they want, the negative thing about social media, and there are plenty of negative things about social media. But ultimately, we wouldn't have this conversation if it wasn't for social media, right? We would not have this conversation. We would not have this popularity. We would not have this community. So think about the things that we would not be able to achieve if we had to depend on legacy media and on these legacy institutions to give us information, right? And the same thing with CRISPR, right? I mean, CRISPR will solve many, many diseases, human diseases, vegetation, plants, grow crops, help with global climate change. But ultimately, if it's not used properly, if the ethics are not considered, if it gets in the wrong hands of people, absolutely, it could be extremely dangerous, and we have to be mindful of that. But I think that actually addresses a greater problem in our society, right? Who will be taking these decisions? How implicated citizens are? What is the awareness? What is the education? I mean, there are so many topics here to discuss that obviously goes beyond that, beyond the realm of this channel for sure. Yes, CRISPR can cure cancer. In the meantime, starve the cells, no sugar carbs. Please look at all the anti-aging work David Sinclair is doing. I try to help many with cancer too. Yeah, for sure. David Sinclair, Sinclair actually responded to me a couple of months ago on something about CRISPR, and he said that he's actually working on collaborating with like some labs on CRISPR. I haven't really seen much from him recently about CRISPR, but I know he's collaborating into it. I know he's gone in several interviews with Joe Rogan, with a bunch of people, and I've gotten some negative feedback from some people about him. Like, I think, I don't remember who it was, but someone was telling me how he's like always trying to sell his like a drug or whatever. Like, there's a specific drug about anti-aging, and apparently he's invested in it. So I try to see both sides, and actually that's a great point, right? As much as we should do that with CRISPR and with technology, we should do that with people, right? We should try to remain extremely vulnerable to biases, right? Because even me giving information to you guys, I'm invested in these companies. You have to make your own decision, right? This guy's invested. He may be pushing a stock for his own good. So, whatever he's saying, is it valid? Is it based on science? Is there evidence what he's saying? Or is this stuff that he's just saying just to pump and dump a stock, right? And you should always be asking this question, not just with me, but anybody you talk about or you listen to, especially on YouTube. Like, so many people there, like, I don't even know their name, and these are people that I really respect and they've done a great job. But it's like whenever Tesla stock goes down, you see these people coming on YouTube and just like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, they start talking in a way where they wouldn't have done that if the stock was just going up. It's just because you see they're affected, right? Because their net worth is really, really tied to Tesla, for example, for any of these companies they're invested in. It's weird, like stock markets, it's really, really weird. But in a sense, I sort of understand it, right? It's like if you guys worked so many years, hard-earned money, and then you're investing in these companies, and then someone comes online and starts trashing your company, you're sort of in a position you want to defend it, right? So I think we all have to do our due diligence, right? And it's part of our research. Ethics is huge, but tech is cheap and accurate. My big fear is we weaponize fungi or plants, spores we cannot escape. Big fear, yeah, I think it is a big fear, but think about the exchange we can do with cancers, with treating human patients. We have people dying every single day from sickle cell disease, from beta thalassemia, from all these diseases, from rare and common diseases. And if we can address these diseases, whether that's cystic fibrosis, whether that's ALS, whether that's Duchenne, whether that is cancers, various forms of cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancers, some form of brain cancer, or we've all had people in our families. And I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to virtue signal here. I'm actually being genuine. I think as humans, we have to take decisions, right? And those decisions are based on values and ethics and morals that we've been taught over the years. And I don't know. I just feel like the exchange there, I think ethics is huge. I think that we definitely have to consider it, and it's definitely serious. And all these companies have to take it serious, and they have to be regulated by the communities, not but just by governments or FDA. I mean, like by us citizens. We have to regulate these companies and make sure that they, perform at the best capability to the human, the same way we're treating like manufacturing companies about their output to see global emissions, right? This is much more than just global emissions, right? This is literally the end of humanity if it's taken in the wrong way. But to me, this is things that make me bullish because it shows the power of this technology, and it shows what we can do with this technology, right? So quite interesting. I think I'm gonna get a refill, guys. So if you guys don't mind, just hold it for like maybe 10 seconds. I'm just gonna get a refill coffee. All right, all right. We are back. We are back. Okay. Um, yeah, ethics is huge. And tech is cheap and accurate. My big fear is we weaponize. Yeah, yeah. We actually covered that. Okay. Yeah, I just went for a coffee, guys. CRISPR and coffee, right? This should be. You know what? We should name. Ah, man, I was thinking like renaming this channel, but that's way too much. I think I'll keep it as silent investing. But I think maybe we should name these videos like live stream, like CRISPR and coffee. I was just like, or maybe genomics and coffee. I think that'd be even a better term to use. I think because most people physically understand that genomics at this point, right? What it means, but that's subjective as a term, but it's much more wider as a term, right? It includes specific bio, it includes in vitae. Hey, let me know what you guys think about non-CRISPR companies like genomics, like Pacific Bio and Vitae DNA. I saw a tweet from what's his name, Jason Kelly, CEO and founder of DNA, Ginkgo Bioworks, and he's sort of like, and I'm not religious, obviously, but he quoted like the Bible, right? And he said like even the Bible knew something like that. He said even the Bible knew that being a platform is the key in life, right? And he said something along that. I'm paraphrasing, and obviously DNA, what they're working, he's referencing to DNA, right? The company Ginkgo Bioworks, they're trying to become a platform rather than a company that's just specialized in a specific technology. They want to lend out their technology. They want to build equities. They want to build ownership, just like what we saw with Kronos, with their deal with Kronos and with other companies. And I found it funny because I said I found it funny because it's like the first thing I told myself was like, this dude is like literally like reading the Bible during the bear markets, right? I don't know. I just find it funny. It's just funny. I don't know. Like I'm not religious. It's not the religion part side of things. It's just funny that the guy is like during these bear markets, which obviously DNA stock has been hit very hard. It's been down over 60-70% from its all-time highs. Again, it just IPO'd late 2021, so it's way too early to say anything. But this has to hurt, right? Because they literally came off a de-SPAC, right? They went through the non-traditional way of IPOing through a SPAC merger, and there are a couple of reasons why you want to do that, right? Because you don't have an IPO lockout period, which means your employees can sell their shares right away. In fact, this is a great segue into how Caribou Biosciences lockout period ended earlier this month. So I think it was like the first week of January it ended. And this could explain why the stock got even pushed further down. It could explain it. And that's good, right? Because then you have less insiders that own the share. You want to get over this IPO lockout period, right? You want to get over that as fast as possible. Like you as an investor, you never want to be in a position to be juggling under the stress of IPO lockouts because there's so much legacy media coverage over that. And it does affect it, right? Because you have insiders that own significant shares. And yes, if they do sell all at the same time, it will push the stock price down. I mean, this is just basic math, right? Shares out, shares in, right? So quite nice. Quite nice to see they're done with their IPO lockout. We can get over that. I know a lot of you guys were excited for that. So Need to run. Thank you. Thanks for all you do, brother. It's a great. You are open to all your thoughts. We'll continue to watch all the videos and tweets. CRISPR is going to change the world. I love CRISPR and coffee. Yeah, CRISPR and coffee, man. This is probably going to be the next live stream title, man. CRISPR and coffee. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, thank you so much, Glenn, for joining in. Again, I do these live streams. I just started last week. Great feedback from all of you. I mean, even if we just get a dozen viewers at a time, to me, this means the world to me because I have a live interaction with individuals. I mean, I'm always gonna do these videos like I've been doing, these scheduled videos, these published videos where you can comment in the section below, the comment section. But then having these live interactions is always great because it allows me to get a sense of how the community is feeling and have these discussions with you, Glenn, for example, from Michael, from Marana, from Surdesh, from Sanan. So there's so many people in this community. Larry, there's so many people, guys, so many names. And trust me, I do know you guys by name. I do memorize your name because your name comes up often where you're commenting. And it's just that community I'm building. And one day, you know, like Glenn offered here in New York City, one day I'll pass by and I'll have a coffee with Glenn and we'll talk and it'll be just fun. You know, this is the new technology. This is what technology has allowed us to do, right? Communicate with people that we couldn't have done in the past and then exchange that information for free, literally for free, which is what the ethos of this channel is all about. And I'm going to keep doing these, right? These live streams, these videos, I'm going to keep publishing. Trust me, guys, if there's one person you can count on when it comes to like persevering through tough times and through times where, you know, it may not seem evident that, you know, you should be talking about a particular topic because, you know, there's like blood in the markets or things are down, things are depressive a little bit. It has, in my opinion, I'm pretty confident that I am the person for that because I've gone through certain things in life and I'm not going to go over that, but there's certain things I've been able to sustain and to endure. And it takes a certain type of person to go through these types of turbulence. And I know a lot of you guys are like that as well, especially some of you keep investing in these companies despite the negativity out of the legacy media. You've gone through a lot of turbulent times, and this is where we as a community, we have to stick together and we have to always be on our tippy toes and always try to learn more. And this is exactly what I'm doing with these live stream, you know, with this information, live interaction. And I know I've helped a lot of you guys and a lot of you guys have helped me. Not just with CRISPR, not just with genomics, just in general, right? Just in life. I think it's amazing what we're doing here. And it is something that I'll keep doing over the months and years to come. We'll see how we develop. There's a lot of work ahead of us. There's a lot of things we have to do. And I know a lot of you guys know this. A lot of you guys don't know this. But after having conversation with a couple of ARK investors and so on, I can tell you guys there's so many people that have zero clue about genomics. For them, it's like biotech will be something in like 10 years. They said the same thing like 2 years ago, right? 5 years ago, they were saying it's going to be something in the next 5 years. And in the next 5 years, they'll say something will be in the next 5 years because it's not something they comprehend. And this is exactly what I'm trying to do in this channel is to simplify this complex information to make it simple for everybody, even for a software engineer or for us, you know, blue collar worker working at a restaurant, working as a truck driver, or, you know, working as a mechanic, working as a plumber. I want them to come on this channel and understand what these terms we're using, right? Genome editing, right? CRISPR-Cas9, going to a gene, double-stranded break, base editing, right? Editing that gene, talking about off-target translocation, talking about companies like the actual stock price, shareholders, you know, in and out, outstanding shares, you know, CRISPR interviews. I want to talk about all these terms and make it basic, right? You guys, I think a lot of people think that I had that comment the other day, and I'm not gonna. I honestly don't take things that personal these days. Like I know a lot of people, you know, publish a bunch of stuff. This is, you know, the nature of social media at that point. There was someone saying that you don't know anything about CRISPR. You know, you just, you know, you don't even understand what CRISPR-Cas9 is all about. You know, and you know, my response to that is like, look. You think I don't know about CRISPR-Cas9 because I'm not communicating at the level that you think I should be communicating. But when you're a creator on YouTube, when you're publishing these videos, you get a spectrum of viewers, right? And you cannot, you can't necessarily make everyone happy, but you can definitely try to make as many people happy by sort of trying to tackle certain terms, certain videos that can, connect to people from different expertise levels. For the basic person doesn't understand CRISPR, just what it is, right? The basic person didn't even take a single biology course, right? So, we talk about genotypes, phenotypes, we talk about traits, and we talk about recessive traits and dominant traits, alleles, whatever you call it. I've never known how to pronounce that word. And a lot of people didn't even take Bio 1, Bio 2 courses because, some people didn't even finish high school, right? And it's nothing wrong with that, But we're all humans, right? And we all deserve the same type of attention. We all deserve an opportunity for education. And that's exactly what this channel is about. If you have a cell phone, you pop up your cell phone, you play my videos, and you start learning about CRISPR. And that is my goal for 2022. I want to, as much as I want to go complex and deep and really understand these research papers and understand these companies, I always want to go back and talk about these basic news, right? HIV, right? HIV, because people can relate to HIV, right? They understand what HIV is. And you have now a company that's trying to tackle HIV, right? And those are basic terms that I want to communicate with you guys so that we can all benefit from the beauties of this technology, whether you're an investor or whether you're just here to follow me and to listen to me, to see me on a video camera to you guys, or just, to learn more about genomics, biotech for your own good. And maybe, you want to venture in the future, as maybe you want to, spin off a startup, maybe you want to create a business around it, maybe you want to do your own YouTube channel. I don't know, there's a vast amount of opportunities here. So let's see here what's doesn't look like questions are coming in. Yeah, and I probably will be ending this soon shortly as well. I'm not going to be going through the stream like over an hour and a half. It's already been, if I take a look at the time, guys, it's already been an hour and a half, actually. It's been an hour and a half. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be going through the stream for the next, hours or so on. I mean, it is definitely taxing, and I definitely have other things to do than cover some of these news that we have covered over the last week, guys. Again, if you want to look at our video catalog, do look at it. We have a bunch of videos, a bunch of things that we talk about. And you can always put your questions, comment in each of those videos and let me know what you guys think. Because that is the best way to communicate. You got to communicate. There is no dumb question. There is no simple question. Everything, even simple questions, like if you think it's simple for you, trust me, it could be complex for another person, including me, right? So there is no dumb question. Hey, Remy, thank you so much for joining and for returning these live streams. What's your prediction about RG, and is there other genomics ETF you like? So I'll be honest with you. Again, I'm not a big fan of ETFs, but the only ETF I personally love is actually genomics. I think there's also XBI. What is XBI actually? I see this often. XBI, it's like the S&P for biotech ETF. So maybe that could be of interest to you. I don't know if I can see the holdings here. Let's take a look if we can. Oh, actually, I can probably find it in Yahoo Finance. I think this is another ETF that you may be interested in, Rami. Top 10 holdings. So, yeah, these are really, because this is a really diversified ETF, right? Because clearly you can see the biggest one holds 1.18%. And that is with NTLA. Editas are underneath at 1. That's interesting. Beam at 4th position with 0.90%. What about the CRISPR Therapeutics? They didn't even put CRISPR Therapeutics in the top 10. Whatever. But yeah, I think this could be an ETF that you like. RG is still, in my opinion, is a great fund. XBI, I know a lot of people that are a little bit more a little bit more focused on biotech, specifically biotech. Like they don't want exposure to like Teladoc to have like 10% of the fund like RG has. I think this could be a really, really nice ETF for you. Can I find all these stocks? Do you know about XBI, Rami? Let me know so that um, I don't say something you already know. Like I don't want to waste your time there. Let's take a look here. I don't think this is right. It's this. Yeah, they're saying here these are the top 10, and TLA is not here, but in Yahoo Finance it was Fate. So now I'm confused. Like, who's accurate with the information? Anyways, whatever. Doesn't matter. Well, it does matter if you want to go into this ETF, but for me, it doesn't matter because I don't do ETF. I'm not going to invest in these ETF. But XBI is definitely another one, Rami, to answer your question directly. RG is definitely a great fund. I have no problem with RG. I think RG is definitely one of those companies you definitely want to look into seriously and consider it. I've done my consideration. I just decided to invest in these companies individually because I find it that some of these companies that they hold in their genomics fund is not necessarily a company that I would want to invest in. Not necessarily because they're bad companies or whatnot. It's just, capital is limited and I want to invest in companies that I truly support. And when you have over 50 holdings in an ETF, I mean, there's going to be for sure a couple of companies that you just don't care about or you just don't even know they exist, right? But this is an ETF. They have a duty to their existing shareholders and to their stakeholders involved to reward them over term, and they have a fiduciary duty to reward them in the long term and to serve them. So it makes total sense for them to diversify. That is the whole point of an ETF. That is the whole point of an RG fund. And I have absolutely no problem with RG. But I would truly advise you guys to look into it. They actually revamped their website recently. Unfortunately, the RG fund has been going down. The stock price has been hit very hard. But as you can see, they're not just about CRISPR, targeted therapeutics, bioinformatics, molecular diagnostics, stem cell, agriculture biology, and also they talk about multi-omics in their Big Ideas 2022 document, which we've covered in this channel in the past. So actually, I probably should have covered the Big Ideas 2022 for this live stream as well, just said because it's a recap of this week. Whatever, I'll do it tomorrow, maybe in a video format, just as a reminder. Okay. All right. So I don't know if there's other questions there. Maybe I'll hold it just for another minute. Maybe I don't know if you guys have ever spoken like in a live stream, but like your throat gets really affected. Like it's a little bit crazy. I don't know if it's the way I speak. Maybe I need to modify the way I speak, because when you speak for like 1 hour and a half, your like throat starts hurting, right? It's quite interesting. Yeah, but anyways, I don't think we're gonna hold this too much. I do want to end this with just this news that came in. I'm looking at it. Moderna HIV has officially begun human trials. This is actually something that I was expecting, that I've actually covered in the past, but it looks like Moderna is going forward. Obviously, Moderna is not doing it through CRISPR. They're doing it through their mRNA technology, which obviously the whole stock price is based on for now, but they're basing it on becoming a platform rather than a one-time deal with the pandemic. They obviously have the funds for it, so they're tackling the HIV side of things. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably cover the whole news in a video format, maybe tomorrow, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll end this live stream like this. There's another question came in, Michael. I'll answer it before ending this stream. Do you ever get the sense that some solid news from Bionano is being downplayed? Yeah, I think Bionano is an interesting company because I think at this point, the whole market is in a bear market. And honestly, good news is not even relevant at this point. I mean, look, guys, Pfizer news with Beam Therapeutics should have shot the stock Beam Therapeutics like 100% up, in my opinion, because you literally just validated it through the most valuable company, healthcare slash biotech slash science company in the world, right? Right now in 2022, Pfizer, right? They literally said, and CNBC, the CEO said, we did strong due diligence and we picked Beam Therapeutics. To me, the Beam Therapeutics stock should have shot up. To me, CRISPR company as a whole should have shot up. Instead, they actually went down over the next weeks, and they've been further down since the news was released. So it's the same concept with BioNano, right? Any of these companies, I think they're being hit so hard. The markets are being unjust. I think at this point, you know, you need these macro environments to pick up, whether that's the Fed rates, whether that's what's going on with the political tension in Ukraine, whether that is the whole thing with governments with lockdowns and so on. I think there is a need for, you know, for macros to be solved. And until we don't get to that point, I think you'll see these companies trading sideways or even going down, including BioNano. I think BioNano is here to stay. I think they have a solid case to do. They're undervalued right now, just like other companies like Invitae, Pacific Bio. But it is what it is, guys. I'm going to end this video like this, Michael. Thank you so much for the last minute question. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll close this video like this. We'll close this live stream like this. Thank you so much for everybody that's joined this live stream. Again, we do this every week. I'm going to try to do this every weekend. I'm going to try to call it CRISPR and coffee at this point because I am having my coffee and I am talking with you guys about CRISPR, genomics. I'll call it actually genomics and coffee instead. But thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll close this out like this. Again, like this video, found value from it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for watching and have a beautiful Saturday, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.